So at the 19th of November, ArenaNet released the first update of the Janthir Wilds expansion cycle. And today I want to talk about how I feel like the update is, and especially how much content it delivered and all the different parts of the game that were affected. I'm Summer, and without much further ado, let's jump right in. So I have here a little cheat sheet. So that's the wiki of the Godspawn patch, that's how it's called. I was actually looking really forward to this one because it had some really big features in it that I really enjoy having in a new expansion. Namely the spear, the new raid, and of course new relics and new possibilities to play the game. Let's see if I really have, if it's really enough for me. So let's start, of course. We have some story, nothing too crazy there. Just 3 story instances and no big things, I would say, but what you would expect from a typical Guild Wars 2 story. And then we have, of course, a lot of new achievements. We get the conversions, we get the achievements for the story, but we don't have a map dedicated to the story. So we have only the 2 maps that were already there. I know a lot of people were really disappointed by that, because a lot of people in Guild Wars 2 just play the open world and the story, and there's nothing. There's only the story for them. So that's a big disappointment for those people. It was clear when they released the roadmap already that this will be the case. But anyway, it's a really sad part for those people. I can understand that. For me, it's not that big of a problem because I like to do convergences, I like to do the raids. But in any case, it's a little bit less content than you would expect from a first patch. The next map will be in February, so let's see if it's worth the time to wait. But at the moment, it's for those people, it's a little bit sad. Then we have the Legendary Spear collection. It's, in my opinion, a really cool spear. It looks cool. It's a little bit, dull compared to the other flashy Oreen stuff. But don't get me wrong, I like it. It is a nice skin that is flashy enough for Legendary, but it is a little bit more to the ground, like the typical Coden Icelandish theme. I think it fits really well. The spear itself and the animations are rather cool. I think it's cool. I think some people are actually not really happy with the spear. That's fine. I think there's always someone that is not happy with it. I guess could be worse. I think it's interesting that they bundled the spear in some really cool new reward structure systems. I think that's really nice. So now, before the rewards were for the hearts, the repeatable hearts, were really bad. There was almost no incentive to do them. And now you have to at least do them weekly, because then you get a lot of those rune stones, just like the old antique summoning stones from EOD. When they released, they were heavy in price because you can only get so many per week. And now you have those shards of Janthir Sindri and shards of Lowland Shore that you need for the spear, and they are really pricey. So a lot of people want to do the spear, and there are just so many shards around. So really good that they did that. It makes the long-term incentive to repeat the hearts. I think that's a really smart move by ArenaNet. And also, for example, Amalgamated gemstones are needed for the spear, which also really improved the economy, I think, in my opinion, because they were going down because no one used them anymore. And they dropped from almost every old meta event. And therefore, now it's really cool that you have an incentive to do them again. Or at least a little bit more reward for doing them. Okay, enough for the spear. We have the raid. I have some raid videos up already. I will, of course, do more guide videos about the raids. But I think the raid is nice. It's good to have a raid. It's interesting from the balancing perspective that the normal modes of the raids are really different. So I would say Ura and Kriya are rather easy. Especially Ura is really easy. And Decima is quite hard for most people. And it's probably because Ura gets a challenge mode and a legendary mode, so they have more ways to balance them. Kriya and Decima only get the challenge mode, they will not get the legendary challenge mode. So there is less possibility to balance them, but either way, I think it's I think that they are a little bit too hard for the majority of people. I would say they should have gone a little bit lower with the difficulty. I'm fine with it, but I feel like a lot of people wanted to or should have gone into raids that did not do before. And if it's too hard for them to get into them, it's not a good way. Yeah, that's the first take. And the second take is a lot of people are disappointed that it's exactly the same bosses like we already had in the story, in the open world, in the map. So they used it so often, 4 times. Those bosses, the assets are exactly the same. Some people are really disappointed by that, and I get that point for sure. But I would say the alternative would be to don't get any raids, and I would say rather have a reused asset and get a raid for it, because I think a lot of other games, even really populated games like Final Fantasy, and I think even WoW does it to use story bosses, you know, that were previously used already and do a raid out of it. I think that makes total sense. I think it's just smart. But I think it's still a point of criticism because, of course, it's a little bit and yeah, that's just this. Then we get a lot of new collections, rare basic collections, really nice. I always like to go for the relics as well because you will unlock them for the legendary relics. It's really cool, I think. And so the raid has a nice collections as well. We have a collection for the legendary spear, and we have new Wizard's Vault. It's really interesting. We get a lot of new rewards, especially I think also cool new skins, also mount skin. And we get a really interesting way to preview your legendary weapons. It's really interesting. And World vs. World collection, really, really interesting because they are heavily changing the siege equipment, how you get it and how you can transform it. I made a video about it already. Be sure to check it out. And you can now get infinite siege equipment. I talked about it on my stream, but I would say it's really just a long-term grind goal for some people that are commanding a lot, that only use one character. There are a lot of disadvantages actually to go for that, I would say. It's not specifically useful for most people. The convenience is not there for me, so I won't go for it. It's just not worth it for me. And I think it's a cool thing that they added it. I think the only criticism I would have is they should have added an 8th infinite siege blueprint that would include all of the other ones. And then it would be a nice convenience item, because now it's just you have 7 different items laying around and you have to put them either in the shared inventory or just swap them around on your characters. It's not good, I feel like. But that's just my point of view. Then we have a new mastery, and that's really lackluster. It's just one single mastery step, 5 mastery points. Just boring. Just adding a little bit more handiworker crafting. That's boring. I hope there would be something cool, something new coming, but no, that's it. Hopefully with the new map there will be no masteries, but that's not a real new mastery. It's just, yeah. Of course, don't get me wrong, it's nice to extend the homesteading, but it's boring to just add this as the only mastery, you know? That's just, yeah, boring. Then we have the new currency of the gating crystal. Of course, that's used for collections and skins that you can get in the raid. Really cool. I like it if they add more currencies that are used for getting unique stuff, so you can't get the skins anywhere else. You have to do the raids. That's cool. Of course, the currency bloat is there, but it's just how MMOs work nowadays, so that's it. Then we have a lot of new skins. We have the skins that you get from the convergence. You have some nice raid skins. Yeah, here as well. And then we have the Wizard's Vault skins. Really cool that we have more. And we get, of course, a lot of rewards in Wizard's Vault as well. That's always really nice. Relics, I made a video about them. Be sure to check it out. It's in the top right hand corner. I think, just a quick summary, I think they are interesting by design. They are weak, most of them. Not really crazy strong. They have a niche usage, some of them. But I would say overall, I expected a little bit more. I'm a little bit sad about it because the design that they went with the relics is okay. It's not particularly crazy. It's not game breaking. But I would say it's also not changing any builds, most of them. And that's sad. Not even in one game mode. I would say most of the builds are staying the same. And that's a little bit sad. I hope that at least there would be some cool relics for some builds and then we could change the build. But that's sadly most of the relics are not that good. The only one that might be really good is the one that gives you a Condic Lens on Blast and Leap Finisher. And that might be useful on some builds, but all the others are rather, you know, niche, and even in the niche they are not that broken, and that's not good, you know, because for example the Reaper Relic is really niche. Not a lot of classes, or I think only Reaper can use it, but at least on Reaper it's good, you know. Don't get me wrong, Reaper Relic might be arguable if it's good or not, but at least it's, you know, it's good in the niche it wants to fill. And those relics are rather niche and don't provide enough value to be worth it to run in the niche anyway. So that's not a good thing. And I hope they would do something more cool. Relic of Mount Belgium might be used in some scenarios because it's just a flat, nice damage buff, but I would say it's boring. So that's my take. So we have some new minis. Yeah, it's always something to collect. And we have a lot, and I mean a lot, of new homesteading decorations. We also have a mini Bog Queen, so it's a really rare reward. No one got it yet, I think, from the Bog Queen. So there might be some really good value if you can drop it, a rare drop. We have some new recipes for the homesteads. And we got the convergence. It's a nice convergence in my opinion. It's quite fast. It's not too hard, the normal mode, and it's might be a little bit boring the first part, but it's the same with the old conversions. And the boss is currently only Decima. There will be more bosses in the future, but it's a convergence. What do you expect? You know, you get some essences, you play it, you get some money. I think it's fine for the people that like meta events and want to do it in an instance. I think that's fine. I don't have any hard opinions on that. I think it's okay. I like that the weather changes there and it affects the gameplay a bit, but I haven't seen all the weather conditions yet, so I'm not sure how exciting and interesting they are, but currently I would say it's a cool concept. Yeah. And yeah, and then they updated the Blackline chests. I made a stream yesterday where I opened a lot of Blackline chests. We'll do a video about all of that. But yeah, that's the patch. So overall, I would say the patch is underwhelming for people that want open world maps and content, and even for people that are not that interested in raids. It might be really boring as well. You know, there's just the convergence and that's it. But I feel like the Legendary Spear and the raid provide some really nice long-term content. I think that's really important. Also the convergence, you can do a lot. Getting a lot of gold over the years. I think that's nice because Soto released one year, even over a year ago, and people still do their Soto convergence. I think that is nice to have some long-term content now. I think the patch was good. I think it's a rather small patch, even though we have some nice instances we got. But I feel like it's way better to have those patches that provide you with long-term content via legendaries like the spear and the instance content that you can do all the time, and grind, for example, the stuff that you need for the repeatable hearts you get from them. I think that's really important that you have those long-term concept methods and stuff in there, and therefore the patch is good for me. I agree that a lot of people that don't want to go for this or don't like those kinds of types of content, totally, yeah, empty patch. I think that's totally fine. That's just how it is. And the balance patch, I mean, there was not a real balance patch in that sense. There were some hot fixes and nothing crazy. I think most of the issues that they wanted to address with those hot fixes were not really addressed, because the builds for PvP at least are still exactly the same and still exactly like that broken. You know, Chronomancer is still broken, Willbender is still broken, in rank that is. And Dragon Hunter Bunker is still really strong. So yeah, I mean, that's just how it is. I would say this patch is, yeah, it has positives and negatives. For me, I'm happy that I have something to grind now, and yeah, that's just how it is. I hope you liked this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Thanks a lot for all the support. Thanks a lot for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video or of one of my streams.